All right, welcome, and thank you for showing up in spite of the rain to this meetup. We are talking about data integration today, and we have a pretty packed agenda. First up, we'll talk very briefly about Apache Gobblin, what's going on with it, the latest news. And then we have Prezi in the house. They're going to be talking about how they gobble data at scale. And then we have Machine Zone, who'll be talking about how they're doing their data ingestion and data management piece. And finally, we have LinkedIn talking about how we're doing data democracy while preserving data privacy. And then we can continue chatting and finishing up however much booze is left. But to kick things off, Abhishek, he's the Apache PPMC for Gobblin, and he'll give a quick intro to Gobblin and what's going on.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. So I'm Abhishek, and I'm Apache PPMC for Gobblin and committer, as well as part of the Gobblin team at LinkedIn. So I'll briefly talk about what's new and great at in the Gobblin world. So what is Gobblin? So Gobblin is a distributed data integration framework that simplifies different data integration things, such as ingestion, replication, organization for both streaming and batch data ecosystems. We say integration, not just ingestion, because Gobblin is really a framework that has evolved from being just focused on ingestion and replication to being a full suite of things that does lots of data integration stuff, including data lifecycle management and other things. In terms of our vision, we want data to appear anywhere in any form that you want. And we take that vision and we try to work out everything that we built around that. And similarly, our mission is also to build highly scalable platform to achieve our mission and simplify the data integration management and data management for small and large data ecosystems. So I'll talk about a few great things that happened since our last meetup. So first being Apache incubation. So we incubated an Apache in February last year when we were accepted. Since then, we worked with internal processes and legal teams to do the coordination and start the Apache infrastructure setup, which happened around in November of last year. So now we have a new website. We have new mailing lists to communicate. We have a new way to track issues. We have a new wiki. We have open sourced our design documents are open sourcing most of them. We have a new way to talk real time over Gitter. We have a new way to suggest major initiatives within Gobblin in open source world and let external folks drive them. So that's the Gobblin improvement proposals section. You can find that on Wiki. We also have our new first external committer, which is Joel. Many of you know him with the name of Kadan. And our first Apache release is in progress. We had a release candidate, but we need some more work, so we are coming up with the next release candidate soon. Another big update that now we support multiple execution modes. Many of you know Gobblin from a while back when it used to just run as an MR application in MR mode. Now it can actually run in multiple modes. So you can run it as in a standalone JVM or in embedded mode in your application. Or you can run in MapReduce mode, like it traditionally had the strong foothold in. Or you can run as in cluster mode on Yarn or in Mesos is in progress. Someone in the community is actually driving that. Or you can run again as an Elastic cluster on AWS, and Azure mode is also in progress. And someone in community again is driving that effort as well. Another big update, we have also come up with something called as Gobblin as a Service, which is our attempt at building platform as a service around Gobblin. What it does is that given Gobblin's evolution into solving multiple data integration use cases, We have multiple deployments of Gobblin within LinkedIn itself, but provisioning and setting up jobs across all of those deployment becomes pretty hard. So Gobblin service kind of sits in front of all of those deployments and makes your job much more easier to provision jobs across all of those deployments. So like you can just do a self-serve and set up job through Gobblin service on the first instance, which is like Gobblin running on AWS, reading somewhere from somewhere and writing out to HDFS. Then another job that would simply do a format conversion, another job that will replicate data. It would help you better make use of your resources, help you get a better global state of things, or just simply change your deployments behind the scenes without affecting the users. Then another major thing that we have worked on recently is implementing global throttling. What it does is it provides a centralized place using which you can bound the total QPS of all the applications that you have in your ecosystem, so that different applications running within your infrastructure can just talk to that throttling service, and that throttling service can control the amount of QPS each application is using to talk to one of the resource that you want. And this is also pretty generic. You don't have to really use it just with Gobblin. You can integrate it with any kind of application that you have and make use of it. So, so like in this diagram that we have one Gobblin instance using it, and then there are two other generic apps which are just talking to the same throttling service. In terms of other announcements, we had many new things happen and lots of work done around stability of different components. But one of the major things that we did was around stabilizing and improving the Gobblin cluster. We spent quite a bit of time to make sure that it works nicely at greater scale. And then we have a better stream processing support. It's getting slowly and steadily on par with all the offline processing that we already do pretty nicely. We have new sources for Google Analytics, Google Drive, Google Webmaster, partition app profiles, new extractors for Postgres, new converters like JSON to Parquet and so on, new writers for Parquet, Salesforce, and also another interesting contribution from externally in the community has been great support for eventually consistent file systems like S3 and others. So you can get involved in the community by just sending out an email on the mailing list or just pinging us on the Gitter, and just talk to us if you have any ideas or if you want to contribute in any way. Thank you.
If you have any questions, either raise your hand and I'll pass a mic around, or we could kind of do it after the talks as well. Any questions? All right.